Hello and welcome to Maskcast. This is the only official Masked Singer UK podcast. My name is Nick Johns. I may be a superfan, but I'm also as in the dark as you are. So we need to solve this mystery together.
Who are ya? Who are ya? Who are ya? Who's that behind the mask?
Welcome to the Masked Singer. We've got some detective work to do, my friends. Oh, wee. You must be absolutely roasting in there. Wow. It's net right joke. Oh, give it up for Owl, everybody.
I absolutely adore you, and the distance that your head can travel round is actually quite creepy.
Oh my goodness, how incredible was episode 2? We had a sizzling performance from Airfryer, Owl was an absolute hoot, and we met a playful piranha in pyjamas with some truly brilliant pipes. And sadly, we had our fill of the delicious chicken Caesar.
It's Alexander Armstrong. I should have got it.
We said goodbye to the truly fantastic Alexander Armstrong. We caught up with Alexander just after he took off that chicken head.
Who's that behind the mask?
I've longed to do The Masked Singer forever and ever, and every year when it's on, I always get all the texts from people saying, are you so-and-so? And I have to say, well, actually, no, I don't say no. I try and say no in a very unbelievable way. Maybe. But no, I never have been. But here I am. I'm Chicken Caesar, which is a delight. It's great to be here. The best thing about performing it is just look at it. I mean, it's such a statement of grandiosity. It's just fabulous. You can wander about, and I've got a wingspan. It's very colourful as well, which I think is terrific. So lots of things I can do with that. The worst thing is it's quite heavy. The head's very heavy, and you can't really see anything. So, yeah, but it swings and roundabouts. I've found keeping the secret all right, actually. It's made very easy for us because we all have code names, and I've got very good at talking about the programme by its code name. So, it's been pretty good. I mean, obviously, we all have to mask up whenever we leave. We have to wear gloves, full visor and everything. It just feels very Squid Game somehow, but I kind of like that. It adds a bit of frisson. I think the strangest thing of all is obviously not knowing any of the other people who are on, and you the only clues you get is hearing them sing, which I did tonight. I mean, Piranha, boy oh boy, that was incredible. I didn't get to hear Owl or Bubble Tea, but I heard little clips from their performances, which sounded amazing. Yeah, it's very strange not knowing who you're up against. Can I sum up Masked Singer in 3 emojis? The glass of champagne and the people dancing and big smiley face. Not the aubergine. What surprised me is just how lovely everybody's been. It's for such a complicated show. I mean, the logistics of this, I dread to think. I wouldn't sleep for months if I was in charge of running this show, and yet everybody does it, and it all works like clockwork, and no one loses their rag. Everybody's just delightful. It's just so warm and sweet and brilliant. I mean, that's been a phenomenal thing to experience. I mean, yeah, that's a feat.
Hello, mate. How are you, Joel? Nice to see you. Alexander Armstrong. What a reveal.
I'll always love seeing Joel. I mean, he's just brilliant. We've had fun over the years when he used to come and warm up. So warm-ups, for anyone who's never been in a where you have a studio audience for a show, the warm-up comes on, just makes the audience happy and, makes sure they're all having a lovely time. And Joel did that job masterfully. He's the reason why Pointless is still going. He's the reason why it found its audience, because he made it such a delight for Richard and me. And it's been just fabulous watching Joel's career. Because, he was starting out then, and it's gone absolutely on the trajectory it should have gone on. So it's just lovely seeing him here.
Who are ya? Who are ya? Who are ya? Who's that behind the mask?
I am thrilled to be joined by the Masked Dancer finalist and simply superb Scarecrow. It's Tamzin Outhwaite. Welcome, Tamzin.
Hello, thanks for having me.
When was the last time anyone called you Scarecrow?
Oh, gosh. Probably on the night that I was unmasked. No, it's not true. People have called me Scarecrow since. But it feels like a little bit of a dream.
Does
so
it?
feels
Does
like,
it?
Yeah, it feels like a long time ago. And because people only know who you are when you get unmasked, it's quite, you stay quite incognito, don't you?
Do you know what I'm really disappointed to hear? That you haven't got a big golden statue in your garden of a scarecrow in tribute to your time on the show. And, and scarecrow heads on the wall. And dungarees everywhere.
I did really want to take the head home and just have it in the bathroom, just up there, because it's just so random. But I tell you what I do have in the bathroom. I have the poster of everyone that did that year. And it's lovely when you're sitting on the toilet and you look at it and think, oh, that was Zoe Ball. Oh,
I love that.
Because, of course, at the time, you don't know anyone.
This question comes up a lot, actually, and you don't get to take the costume home, do you? No matter how much you beg and plead.
Not at all. And I really wanted that scarecrow head because it was so massive. And I did a headstand on it. So, I wanted to be able to take that home. It's probably going to go in some masked singer/dancer museum, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you'll be able to cut the ribbon when we open it up, Tamsin.
Yes, please.
Now, while you were on the show, you told us that your time on The Masked Dancer was, and I quote, ludicrous, ridiculous, and hilarious. And yes. I don't think you could find 3 better words to describe the whole masked universe. Do you stand by those 3 words?
Absolutely. I'm very surprised that in the state of elation and shock and whatever I was feeling at the time that I even managed to find 3 words. But those 3 words are exactly how I still sum it up. It was completely ludicrous. But I think when you're rehearsing and having a brilliant time in the rehearsal room with the choreographer, you kind of forget the ludicrous outcome because it's you're doing it all and you're having a great time. And then when the costume comes on, that's when it becomes ridiculous and ludicrous and hilarious because you're just having a great time like rehearsing a show normally in your normal outfit. And then, of course, with the added extra and the main theme of the show, the costume, you then suddenly go into this world of what is going on.
And there's something else that you said as well, Tamsin, that I'm interested to know. You said that being on The Masked Dancer was quite a lonely experience.
I'm a real team player and I love getting into a cast or a rehearsal situation with a group of people and you're sharing the whole joy and the fear and you share it, but you can't share that with anyone because you walk down corridors dressed like an SAS person, head to toe with just your eyes being able to see just through these tiny gaps. So actually, it is really lonely. You sit in your dressing room eating your food in between like acts going on the show.
I don't think anyone realises quite how tight that security is around participating on the show. But I have to tell you, Tamsin, that a little studio bird has told me that you were desperate to find out who your fellow contestants were.
Yeah, I was naughty.
Is that true? You were very naughty.
I was really naughty. I was naughty because we only all got together to rehearse the group number maybe once. And when everyone came onto that stage to do an actual rehearsal, instead of rehearsing it, I was looking around going, how big are those feet? No, that's definitely... Oh, that's actually a bloke. Oh, my God, I didn't realise that was a bloke. Oh, he's too tall for him. No, so I was doing a full Agatha Christie of, like, who's who. I was like a proper police detective every time I walked past someone or was on stage with someone.
I've heard, Tamzin Outhwaite, that you kept trying to break out of the quick change areas. just to see whether you could catch a glimpse of anyone.
Yeah, I did. I really was. I was probably the naughtiest person, and they really surround you and tell you off, and they're very serious about it. So, like the producers and the people that are looking after the talents, shall we call us, they were. I don't think they were very happy with me because I was like trying to break the rules a bit too much, and I know for a fact that Zoe Ball said that she could tell when we were rehearsing, she could tell that I was naughty because I was the one that was trying to speak and say, and I wanted to find out who they were. I wasn't bothered about anyone knowing who I was, but I was like, I bet I know them. And the maddest thing is when you're all dancing, you think I must have come across them at some point in my career. And I bet I know them. Like I kept thinking that Emma Bunton was amongst them, but actually that ended up being Louise Nerding, I think. Louise.
Yeah.
And then the person that actually was Bonnie Langford, I knew there was an aura about Bonnie Langford that I knew. And I felt her energy and I thought, I know that person. Of course, I knew her quite well. So, yeah, it's you have to get by on people's energies. But I really was like a detective the whole time.
I think naughty is an absolute badge of honour. You've got to be a bit naughty around it, haven't you? Surely.
Of course you do. I mean, to be honest, when you're watching it at the end and you actually see people being eliminated and unmasked, that's the first time you see that person. And I liked the fact that I thought I knew who people were because I'd been naughty. And trying to get out of the quick change room was something, or just trying to peek when people were going past. It was all part of it. In fact, that became the main part of it, not just the dancing, but finding out who the others were. Not to tell anyone else, but just so that I think I'm a detective at heart.
Do you know what I also love? That you could always blame that on Scarecrow. That Scarecrow was curious, right? So, I
think Scarecrow was a naughty character, no?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, he could barely stand up, for goodness sake. I don't know why I'm calling him a he. She could barely stand up.
Naughty little Scarecrow.
Yes.
That's something else that you've talked about, isn't it? The one aspect that really appealed was being able to create this character. I'm interested to know how far did the backstory go? How hard did you work on that character?
Well, when you're given the drawings at the beginning, you're showing the drawings and saying, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? They didn't say to me, you have to be this. But there was another character. It was what the guy from Take That was. What was that character?
Howard.
Zip.
Yeah, the Zip.
Was it Howard?
Yeah.
So weird because you don't see any of them. So Zip was one of the ones that I originally was thinking, that's quite cool. And I could, maybe you could get away with Zip being a man or a woman. But then when I saw Scarecrow's costume, I realised that because it was baggy and it wasn't fitted, that I could actually get away with being a boy or a girl. And the gender thing was really important to me because I thought, then, you're much more secretive and more incognito if you could be a boy or a girl. So the fact that the costume was baggy was a really, that was a plus point for me. Because then if I didn't, if you don't go towards kind of being a sexy kind of like Dieter Von Teese and the other characters were that there were girls, if you're making Scarecrow quite unisex, then you're fooling more people, I think. So it was very important to me that I wasn't too girly. So At the beginning, they were guessing boys and girls. I think towards the end, they worked out that my mannerisms were probably more feminine. But yeah, I was very interested in making that character like a scarecrow when they weren't dancing, like was barely stand up. So then
you can still do it, though. You can still do it. You've still got the moves.
I sometimes bust out the scarecrow around the house.
Drop out the scarecrow moves. I love it. And what about? I want to call him as well. It's funny, isn't it?
Because his face looks like a boy, doesn't it?
It does look like a boy. And talk to me about his personality, because I think that's a really interesting aspect of kind of being on the show.
We tried to make the dancing as much like a scarecrow who was kind of falling over. obviously right back to the Wizard of Oz. That's your image of a scarecrow goes.
Yeah.
Or even Wurzel Gummidge. In my head it was those famous scarecrows that were always kind of like clumsy, falling around, and couldn't really stand up. And so I tried to make the dancing like we like dance like a scarecrow within the realms of the choreography. And then, but when we weren't dancing, what I really loved is the fact that you could just play around with it and be like a naughty scarecrow. It was a lovely character to hide behind.
Have you learnt much from him that you took into your everyday life?
What did I learn from Scarecrow that I've taken into my everyday life? It's nice and people not knowing who you are.
Yeah, amazing.
That's a lovely thing.
Do you know what people say? And I think this is definitely true, that it's really liberating. Like, it's the most liberating job you'll ever do, because you enter it with no preconceptions about what you're going to do.
Yeah, and you can blame it on the character, like you said. If you're being naughty, that's part of Scarecrow's character. If you're falling over, that's Scarecrow.
So we've established that you're an excellent detective, Tamzin. Are you good at keeping a secret? This is the bit I'm fascinated by. How easy is it to keep your participation in it a secret?
I did quite well with my family unit until I kept going through. So when you're not eliminated and you're still in the running, I was thinking, oh gosh, I've got to go next week as well. So what do I say to the kids where I am next week?
Where did you tell them you were going?
I just told them I was doing like a job, and then towards the end, I did actually let it slip, because I tell you what happened. My youngest took my phone, and on my phone, in this group, I was called Scarecrow in this group of the people that you're working with that look after you. And so she went into it because she was very curious, and she's a bit of a detective like me. And she looked and she burst in the room and went, "You're doing the Masked Dancer." Because she did actually say to me, "You've got to do the Masked Singer, please do the Masked Singer, please do the Masked." And I kept saying no to the Masked Singer. When the Masked Dancer came up, I thought, do you know what? That's more me. So I did it trying to hide it from them, but I knew they'd be elated. So when Marnie said that to me, I thought, oh, I've just got to let it out. And that was about the semi-final. And then when I got through to the final as well, I'd get in the door and she said to me, "What are you through?" And I said, "To the final." And then I didn't tell her anymore till we watched it.
Yeah, amazing. And I think you hold a unique badge of honour, because I think you're the only person in the whole Masked universe who's performed in front of a relative. Because you even managed to call Holly in the final, right?
Yeah, I know. And she's not blood relative, but she's married to my cousin. But she is
family.
A relative.
She's
cousin.
family.
She's my cousin-in-law. And she basically, I don't know whether or not she twigged and she was just keeping quiet. I don't think so. But it was quite nice to see their reaction. So
it's
ridiculous.
It's still up there, Tamzin, and I watched it only yesterday. And
really?
that was not the face of somebody that was keeping stum. Like, that was pure shock. Pure shock.
Yeah, I think it was. Which is weird, because you think people would know, but then loads of people get unmasked, and I think, why didn't I get that? I mean, when I saw my own clues, I didn't understand how they were linked to me. So how would somebody else get it? There was a magic wand, wasn't there, at one point? I was actually dancing with a magic wand coming out of my dungarees. And I remember thinking, what's that about? What's that clue? But then I realised it was linked to New Tricks.
New Tricks, of course.
I was in New Tricks for 3 seasons. So, yeah.
We had Charlie Simpson, reigning champion Rhino, on last week's podcast.
Yes.
He was saying his costume was incredibly heavy. It was incredibly cumbersome. Did you have that same experience?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was more the vision. The body part was fine, but the head's heavy and the vision is quite tunnel. So I didn't have any periphery. And so when you're dancing with dancers, it's very strange because you don't know where they are till they're there.
Let's talk about Air Fryer, because Tamsin and I have just caught up on Saturday night's show.
Yeah.
And how amazing is Air Fryer?
Well, Air Fryer's voice is incredible.
Right.
I initially thought that's definitely a female voice, but then somebody guessed RuPaul, and I thought that could actually be a male voice. But I think it's a woman, and I think she is definitely a performer. Air Fryer, I think, for me, one massive, major props and points for even thinking of that as a costume, as a character.
And I think we're going to be seeing this one on the show for a long time.
Oh, I
Because
do.
there was a lot of excitement about Air Fryer. When the characters were announced, kind of everyone was excited about Air Fryer. And it's just, maybe it's my naivety, but I was not expecting Air Fryer to have that phenomenal voice. I thought
and I
Air Fryer
suppose-
was going to be, you know, kind of one of those funnier performances.
Definitely.
And actually, I'm taking you all the way back to series 2, but Sausage, when you heard Sausage sing for the first time, Joss Stone's voice coming out of what was quite a comedy costume, it just creates something incredible.
Definitely. And I think when someone chooses that keeps them very secret, so you can't see their body, you can't see their shape, you can't see their gender, I think that they serve as the best costumes for me.
100%. You'll have to listen on Thursday, because I've been doing a lot of work on how to make those clues work, because I think we've seen Air Fryer on telly before. I think
the chef thing.
Well, I wonder. This is a little sneak preview of Thursday, but I wonder whether we've seen Air Fryer competing in
MasterChef?
Celebrity MasterChef or the Celebrity Bake Off. I mean, I've got a whiteboard in here and it is full of people that have kind of been through that process. And actually, there have been some divas, particularly in that MasterChef kitchen. And it wouldn't surprise me that some really big name has come through that, and that's where those clues are coming from.
My voice is well known. You can probably tell. But I once needed help from a girl from Chigwell.
Girl from Chigwell.
What makes a winner for you, Tamzin?
It isn't necessarily the best singer, because I think it's about what keeps them in there is the intrigue, isn't it? So it's about choosing a costume that is really it's a bit deceitful. It's got to be deceitful. It's got to be a wild card where you think, oh, that person wouldn't choose that. It's a battle of nerves as well, because when you're actually doing that in front of those people, it's extremely nerve-wracking. Keeping your cool and keeping your nerves at bay also make a brilliant winner.
I think you're so right. There are times where we get to a point where we've all got a fair idea who these people are. I'm thinking back to Charlotte Church as Mushroom. And actually, by the end of it, there was no doubt that was Charlotte Church. So, in fact, maybe people didn't vote her to win because they sort of felt that they knew who that was. And actually, you want to keep a bit of... They don't vote
for the best person, do they?
You keep a bit of suspense, like a bit of intrigue around... And actually, it is interesting that good voices in unusual costumes seem to...
That's exactly the winning.
Do the trick, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Who's your favourite judge?
That's hard, because I love Jonathan Ross for his ridiculousness. And I love Mo because putting him into a judging situation is, I don't know, I just always look forward to what he's got to say. I really like him. And then I think Davina is just a queen and goddess to me. And with the actual chops, the singing chops, Rita, obviously. So everyone brings something different. Rita's the one that is very qualified to judge the voices.
What a great show, and what a pleasure, Tamzin, to celebrate it and relive it with you. Thank you so much to the person that will always be our favourite Scarecrow, Tamzin Outhwaite. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me and reminding me about it.
Who are ya? Who are ya? Who are ya? Who's that behind the mask?
Thanks very much for joining me on Maskcast. It's brilliant to be here celebrating the best show on telly, and it's really brilliant to be hearing from you Maskcasters. I want you to send your guesses in and we can work this out together. You can voice note us on 07999 584 515. On Thursday's show, I'm going to be picking over the best and the weirdest of the clues. Until then, I'm off for a bowl of chicken Caesar. Bye, Maskcasters!